Okay, boom. We are live. What up, everyone? It is week 14. For some leagues, it's the fantasy playoffs. For most, it's the week before they start. I'm your host, John Mosales. I got my co host here, Nathan Hernandez, and we're jumping off. Nate, what's cooking?
Yeah, not too much. We got playoffs starting in some leagues, trying to secure the playoff spot in others, and it's do or die now. It's your guys that have let you down all year. It's time to put your money where your mouth is, or really
What
really
does
make
that
some
mean,
bold
though?
decisions.
Because we're going to talk about that. There's a lot of studs that
Hmm.
you've just been carrying because you took them in the first two rounds. Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson. Are we playing them this week?
I have to in some leagues. I have to.
It's gross. But yeah, so we're gonna cover lots of stuff this today, right? Well, we'll cover some playoff stuff. We'll do some previews. Hopefully, answer some questions. And then just kind of, this is the time for the tough questions, right? It's not about what have you done in the past, or it's what can you do for me today, right? In the next three
Hmm.
hours, can you get me 10 points? Okay. Any big injuries this week you saw? Because we got like that we got that whole Tampa wide receiver core coming back, but
Hmm.
none of them are playing this week.
Yeah, nothing there. Kincaid came back this week with a good matchup on deck, so that's like a kind of a sketchy start. Because first came back, but it's the best tight end matchup of the last like 7 years or something like that. I think that's a big one that could really kind of raise the ceiling of like Josh Allen too a little bit. Get him like his most trusted weapon back on the field. I
Yeah,
think
so
that
that was
one could
something
help.
we've kind of talked about all year. The Cincy defense, which is like historically terrible, but they're awesome versus wide receivers, right? They're what, the
Hmm.
30th best team versus wide receivers the last 4 weeks? Is it still
Hmm.
that sort of was last week?
Yeah, I think.
Um, but they're terrible versus QBs, terrible versus running backs, and historically terrible versus tight ends. I was talking about this Thursday, right? Dawson Knox, you got to start, but I mean, sorry, Dalton Kincaid, you have to start. I mean, I think so because he's not even green lit yet. He's going to try and play. But what about Dawson Knox? Like, I think that Cincy defense is so bad versus tight ends, you almost start any tight end that's eligible and in the game.
Yeah, if especially like you know, in an offense like Buffalo where there's no established wide receiver one, and if Dawson Knox just ends up having the best matchup on the field today, if Kincaid is sitting or limited, then he could easily wind up with the best stat line for the Bills receivers.
Yeah, and it's like you have to know that it's not just us reading these stats, the teams know too, right? So Buffalo's
Hmm.
going in, their offensive plan is definitely to attack, I guess, the linebackers and coverage. And, we
Hmm.
saw when they played Pittsburgh, I think three tight ends had like tight end one finishes?
Yeah, so it's something crazy like that. It's just that it's kind of crazy, and then like it's a shame that we don't get a healthy Kincaid for this week, because it feels like this could be like he would be able to take a way better advantage of the matchup than Knox could.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I've got in one of my big money leagues. I'm at this point. I'm starting three tight ends. I've got Dawson Knox in my super flex spot because I've got Bryce Young on bye week, and the Max Brosmer experiment didn't go very well. So now I'm fighting for my playoffs, and I'm just gonna play this matchup because
Hmm.
what would you rather do? I like Dawson Knox over like Luther Burden or Josh Downs.
I don't hate Burden. No Dunze this week. A little bump in the target share, but they're going to be a run heavy offense. Like I mentioned that in a response to a question on the Discord a minute ago. But like the Packers are so far and away dead last in defensive pass rate over expected in the last 4 weeks. Like teams are just running on them at will, and we just saw what the Bears did to Philly. So I would find it hard to believe that they don't just employ a similar game plan.
Yeah, right. These stats just are crazy, right? They're the 31st QB points allowed, 27th wide receiver, 32nd tight end, and then pass rate over expectation 32nd. So it's like I don't want. It's so rare that you see the matchup stat terrible and then the player exceeds it, right? If it
Hmm.
was like JSN at Green Bay, it's like okay, sure, yeah, he'll still get his 100. He'll find a way because but rookie wide receiver in this terrible situation.
Hmm.
No, yeah, no, thanks. What about Ray Davis, right? So because we've got,
Mm.
if you got James Cook, awesome, the congratulations. But if the Bills roll the Bengals, right? Maybe Cook isn't getting what do you have like 32 carries last week? Um, So Ray Davis has slowly been inkling in. He's kind of getting that special teams work. If he gets 6 carries and averages 5-6 yards a pop and breaks one, he could easily get 10 to 12 fantasy points.
Yeah, I'm under the impression too that, teams with playoff, or higher aspirations would want to get like their RB2 more involved heading into the playoffs too, versus like having just your workhorse being the only guy with the rush shaken off, I guess, like getting Davis a chance to get more like familiar and more reps as we get closer to playoffs. I think it makes a ton of sense, and it's a great matchup. Snow's going to be a big factor in this game too, or at least more so than any other on the slate. Just could see the Bills really lean into the run here.
So would you play Ray Davis over Dawson Knox?
That's close. I think it's more likely like Knox is going to be on the field more, so I'd probably trust that. It's close though.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for me. I guess if Kincaid's ruled out, I'm gonna play Knox. But so the opposite side of the spectrum, right? So we got maybe like Seattle, Atlanta, right? We just what did Seattle D have against Minnesota last week? Was it like 32 points? Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now Atlanta, right? Now they get Kirk Cousins, who's the same as Max Brosmer almost, just the opposite side of the age spectrum. But now the game's at least it's in Atlanta, so Cousins at home, and we've seen, is that Seattle defense going to travel? Like, would you be playing Kirk Cousins in a Superflex league? How scared you are of the Seattle team? Like Pitts, Mooney, or are you just like that Seattle pass defense is so good, I'm trying to get rid of the entire Atlanta team minus Bijan?
I think it could be an okay spot for Kirk this week. The Seahawks have been bad against tight ends kind of all season, and if Kyle Pitts is kind of like the top target in the passing plays they draw up this game, maybe there's ways that the offense is able to string stuff together in ways that other teams haven't been able to.
Okay, and then big thing, the Falcons, right? I talked about this Thursday a bit. That pass defense was the best in the league for maybe 5-6 games, right? They were league low in passing yards allowed, but now it's kind of flipped, right? Now they're getting yoked every game, right? They're the last 4 games, 8th in QB points allowed, 6th wide receiver points allowed. So you not only can you throw in Atlanta, you are really really want to. Oh, crap.
Yeah. There was that stretch where teams were like running on them like kind of the way the Packers stats are lining up right now, but teams are running on them far and away. Like I think it was double the next closest on
Really? Wow.
pass rate over expected in that stretch. Yeah, and now you see they're sitting at 14th in that metric. So teams are really able to. Whenever I see like a balanced pass rate over expected, it makes me feel like the defense isn't good and teams are able to kind of just do whatever they please.
Sorry, when you see the what over?
Like a more like middle of the pack pass rate over expected on defense, that tells me like teams are kind of able to kind of do what they want on a given scenario.
Okay, and then when it's hardcore one way or the other, it's.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's a weird way to look at it because we know when they're so bad on against the run that they're dead last in pass rate over expected. It's just something different way to weigh it.
Okay. And then Seattle? What are you doing? So obviously we're playing JSN, but like, is the matchup so good for Darnold? Like, would you play Darnold over Lamar?
Probably. I think so, especially like Lamar. Like he hasn't looked good. It's really hard to trust him. He's been under 8 fantasy points in 3 or 4 straight games.
Yeah, that's insane.
And like you said, it's do or die time. It's if you have the option. I unfortunately don't have a good answer in the leagues that I am banking on Lamar to bounce back. But there are definitely guys that you could name that I would say to start opening this week.
Under 8, the last 3 games. But then he's getting this Pittsburgh team, but it's like, okay, what are the Steelers, right? Like, right, they were a huge pass funnel early in the season, right? Where I think they were the worst secondary in the league, but then now last 4 games, they're 8th wide receiver points. Okay, that's not that bad. Can't really run on them. They're good versus the tight end, which is what Baltimore does. But then it's hard to know what Pittsburgh is at this point. And then also when those matchups, they historically would play they play Lamar to run and let Henry kind of get that one-on-one matchup, and just that option. They just say Lamar is not going to run it. But now since he can't run, maybe they key on Henry, try and force Lamar to run because he hasn't been running. It's it's tough all around.
Maybe this is where we kind of get like a pressure point bounce back game for Lamar. Coming off a loss, they need to kind of win out to be kind of comfy in their playoff hopes. And yeah, if push comes to shove, Lamar is 4 games back now from that hamstring injury, maybe 5 games, and just with the playoffs coming up, you hope to see like him kind of. Like this feels like a playoff game. It should be for them. They're
but so was last week. I feel like these have all been playoff games, right? It's not like some switch he's going to flip. I need to see it, right? So like, if I'm going down these QBs here, like, I mean, like, okay, Caleb. I'm not playing Caleb over Lamar because of the matchup, right? But like, what about Shuck, right? Playing Tyler Shuck playing at Tampa, who is essentially the worst secondary in the league right now. I think let's just check the Tampa stats again, right? Tampa giving up the most quarterback points the last 4 games. What do? Shuck's going to throw 270, maybe if he gets 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, like this, like Shuck could drop back 50 times in this game. Like, yeah, I mean, if I had the option, I'd have to think like I probably would do it.
Like last 3 games, Shucks had 18, 8.9, and 19 fantasy points. Right? Like,
the whole offense goes through him. They're not handing it off to Neal like with a purpose. It's really just to kind of keep the clock burning. And they're also first in defensive pass rate over expected in that stretch. It's just teams are throwing on him at will. Why would you want to run it at Vita Vea when you can pick apart a bad secondary?
Isn't that crazy? If it was week 1 and I was like, at some point you'll be playing Tyler Shuck over Lamar Jackson, you'd be like, so Lamar got shot or he lost the leg.
Yeah, that's fantasy.
Okay, what's another crazy kind of swing we got?
How high are you on Michael Wilson this week? No Marvin.
There is no limit. With Marvin Harrison Jr. ruled out, I mean, top 10 play. I'm playing him over Justin Jefferson. This is what I was just gonna talk about. Like, I think he's right at that end of that top tier. Like, I would have had Jameson Williams over him, although with the Amon-Ra, we'll talk about that. I think it's like AJ Brown or Michael Wilson.
Oh, I'm taking Michael Wilson all day.
No,
long.
Me too.
Oh,
well, at least AJ Brown was he the wide receiver 1 last week or something?
Yeah. It's probably not as easy as it has been in weeks past. I'll give AJ Brown credit.
Like, he's the wide receiver 5 and wide receiver 1 the last 2 games. It's not, But now Chargers, right? Chargers are the best pass defense in the league right now. One of them. Packers, Seahawks, maybe Texans.
Yeah, for second against fantasy QBs right now, and I'm sorry, third against fantasy QBs and second best against fantasy wide receivers right now. So the bad matchup coming through for AJ Brown, and with Wilson, like they're playing the Rams. This could easily be a game where Jacoby's dropping back 50 plus times again.
Yeah, it's tough because the Rams, right? They're a pass funnel, right? They're one of the best teams against running backs. Plus, Bryce just lit them up last week, so maybe that secondary is a little more vulnerable. But sometimes it's just motivations, right? The Rams were playing so well, went into Carolina, clearly didn't have their foot on the gas, right? And then Bryce lit them up. So is it going to be a wake up game? But is it in Arizona or LA?
It's in Arizona.
Okay, good. So yeah, I mean, like if you had Justin Jefferson, right? You're playing Michael Wilson over Jefferson.
Yeah.
But even though the matchup, Jefferson's got Washington, who is maybe the worst defense in the league. So it's like your talent and matchup are great, but the QB situation is that bad that you have to get off them.
Yeah, it does suck because things do kind of line up for a good. I mean, like it's the best matchup he could get. Commanders are dead last in EPA per pass on defense this season, and they're also dead last on quick throws. And I think that's how Justin Jefferson is going to get. Like it feels like they can't wait for plays to develop. It has to be quick stuff if they're going to get like the chains moving. And But that said, all that to say, you have a guy like Michael Wilson, you start him over Jefferson in a heartbeat.
Maybe not in a heartbeat, but because Michael Wilson's track record, it's only 2 games, right? But I think it's a little closer because but Marvin Harrison Jr. out, it's tough.
No Greg Dortch either.
Yeah, but
Just shrinking the target share.
or upping it.
Yeah, or up in the target share.
Sorry. So Wilson, like Ladd, Ibuka, any of these guys is not even close for you. Jalen Waddle. This is making
Probably
me
not. I mean, I really like Michael Wilson this week. I just think that Brissett unlocked him, and with Harrison out, it just kind of gets out the way for him to get 15 targets again.
Well, then what happened last week against Tampa, right? The dream matchup.
I mean, Harrison was heavily involved. He got hurt late, but he was still kind of clearly ahead of Wilson in the pecking order, even though it was his first game back. And of course, McBride is far and away the alpha there.
Okay.
So just kind of fell to third in the receiving room, and it didn't give him access to the ceiling he needed to get a.
So this is one of those situations where it's a great matchup for you just because of the game script.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rams might be the best team in the league, and they have a really good defense, but 18th QB points, 20th wide receiver, so it's like decent middle of the pack. But for you, it's just volume's going to be king. 50 passes, 15 targets, catches 10 of them, 85 yards, maybe a score.
Yeah, Cardinals are number 1 in pass rate over expected pretty much since Jacoby Brissett took over on offense.
Okay, great. That makes me stoked about all my Michael Wilson shares. I went to the moon for him. Okay, so we did Cincy Buffalo a bit. So Joe Burrow, like super start. He had his one game, even though Buffalo's kind of got this sneaky good secondary. But Higgins is, I think, back. Mm-hmm. Burrow, is he like the QB1 for you, or you starting to count over him?
He's probably like QB, probably like QB 3, 2, 3, 4 in that range. Little bit hesitation with the weather coming down. I don't know how it's going to look come kickoff. But that said, I mean, it's Joe Burrow throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. He looked good last week, and Higgins should just kind of unlock Higgins being on the field just makes things easier, for him to find the open guy.
Okay, and then Chase Brown. I mean, because if Buffalo's bad at anything, right? They've just been killed by running backs all season. Like you wouldn't start Chase. Like who would you start Chase Brown over? Would you start him over Bijan?
I wouldn't go that far, but that is close.
What about Bucky?
I think it again that's close, but I think I lean Bucky.
Really? Even with the Rams having sorry, it's not Tampa Saints. Yeah, Bucky. Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking
I think he for him to come out first game from injury and just have a complete handle on the full workload. I mean, they said they were going to ride the hot hand, and then they didn't even give the other guys a chance. And that's part of Bucky being the number 1 running back. If he's running well, other guys don't even have a chance to take touches from him.
Yeah, the hand taught early. Okay. Let's keep moving here. Let's go. I mean, Denver, Vegas. I mean, it's just pretty much like I don't think you can start Genty. Genty's got to be. What was he this week for you? Like RB26?
21. He's been reason being he's had like 8 targets in 3 straight games, so he's got a safer floor than he had with Chip Kelly there. So he's going to be the easy. I feel like he's going to get a lot of easy button swing throws, and just hope he gets to like 60 yards and a touchdown to go with 5 catches.
Okay, and then obviously we're starting Brock, but let's say Kincaid was healthy and you could only start one. Would you start Kincaid over Brock?
Ooh, like if we're saying that like Kincaid had a clean bill of health in this matchup, yeah, I think so. Like, because he's been playing really good this season, and the matchup is the matchup for both of these guys.
Yeah, right. But otherwise, it's just like, is Denver D? Would that be your number one D this week? Like,
Them or Cleveland against Tennessee.
oh, right. Well, so what would you like? Would you have paid on if you were on the wire and one of those defenses were in there and you had the number one pick and you had to make playoffs? Would you use that pick?
I'd probably have to look at playoff schedule for those guys.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just to know if it's a 1 week rental or if I'm investing in them for the whole playoff run. But the Browns are good enough on defense. You could probably just throw them out there every week, and they're a better start than half the teams.
Week 15. So at Chicago for Cleveland, and Denver is home to Green Bay. And I did whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's just funny.
Yeah,
Okay. So Indy Jacksonville. So Daniel Jones looked I guess confident. Like he's not running. But I mean, it's the same question. It's like these wide receivers. They managed to stay healthy all season, right? I just assumed there'd be an injury and it would free up a spot. Like if Pittman went down, Josh Downs would be like a top 15 play for me every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he still found ways to make an impact, even rotating in. Alec Pierce has been like one of the best like football players for the Colts this year. Bottom line,
Yeah, I would say he's a boom or bust player, but he pretty much just booms.
Yeah,
It's like boom, boom, bust.
His floor is like 3 for 46 yards, which is for what he was coming into the season. That's pretty good. And I think that last week, kind of we could have seen like the Colts kind of feeling out the limitations of Jones a bit. So maybe this week they come with a better game plan that's more tuned to like what he's able to do in the offense.
Okay, and then what like this Jags defense? I feel like they've been like yo-yoing all season. So right now they're 26 again. Like I just don't understand them. 26 wide receiver points, 25th running back points. So they're great versus running back wide receivers. They would be the worst team versus tight ends if Cincy wasn't so bad. I think I said Jacksonville is the worst versus tight end since 2020. But because Cincy's the worst versus tight ends in like the history of football, it's like they're just second worst, and it doesn't seem that bad. So like This is Tyler Warren to the moon.
I didn't know that actually. That's a good shout. I love Warren this week. I think that even Strange on the other side of the football is a good play.
Is he tight end?
Warren, I think I had him at. I mean, Trey McBride.
Yeah. Okay. What if you're starting both like I am in my must-win league? I got McBride, Warren.
Oh man, you're feeling great.
Yeah, but I'm also starting Dawson Knox because I don't have a second QB.
Hey, I mean, like if you put like all the flex players in a pool, Tyler Warren and Dalton Kincaid, or I'm sorry, Tyler Warren and Trey McBride might finish as like a top like 20 options at every position.
Yeah. All right, I'm feeling better. Okay, Anthony, my man, you can jump in. You can jump in the show if you want. Just let me know. I'll send you a thing. But do we trust Luther Burden? We kind of covered this already, but no, right? I mean, target share is going to go up. I don't trust anyone in Chicago, right? Loveland, who's been playing better than Warren, nope. DJ Moore, nope. I mean, this Green Bay defense, like show me that you're not elite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough. Like it depends on who you're starting him over, but because I think there's an upside case for him this week, but yeah, just tough to bank on it with the way Chicago has been switching up their tendencies on offense.
That's why earlier I had Rome in every league, and I've tried to trade him because I looked at the Chicago schedule and it was so bad, right? It's just crazy. They got 2 Green Bay games, they got Cleveland, and it's like I think Caleb's more of a front runner, so it's like I tried to get out. I traded Rome for Kirk Cousins in Superflex League, and everyone called me an idiot. And now Kirk Cousins is my only QB, so I guess I am kind of an idiot. But Anthony says Burden or Alec Pierce. I mean, Jesus, Alec. It's kind of who would you play over Alec Pierce, right? Like,
yeah.
let's flip it to the Green Bay side. Would you play Christian Watson or Alec Pierce?
That's really close because the Bears have been bad versus receivers pretty much all season, and that's been
we're getting
true as
Jaden
of
Reed
late too.
back.
Yeah, so the opportunity share could shrink, but I think that Christian Watson is working areas of the field that Jaden Reed might not.
He's kind of just a little bit everything, but it's like, yeah, I don't trust Jaden Reed, but then he makes me trust the other receivers a little less, right? I think Wicks is banged up. What if he's in, because he had 2 touchdowns last week, right? So it's like now they're back to 4 wide receivers. I don't really want to play any of them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just too much of a headache, and you're just banking on your talent, on your player coming through.
But in those situations, does that give Jordan Love the big bump? Same with Daniel Jones. Like, are you playing Jordan Love over Lamar Jackson? Lamar's our go-to Mendoza line. Yeah. Oh, easy.
Yeah, I think so. Great matchup. Bears are third in QB points allowed, and Lamar just hasn't been doing it. And Love has. He's been what the Packers have been like first in EPA per pass since the start of the season.
Okay, Daniel Jones or Lamar. Now he was right. Jones has always been good because he's dual threat and he can run. Now you're just banking on Daniel Jones in his arm over Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
who with a broken leg.
Situation. It's like if the Colts weren't throwing the ball well this year, I would be more worried. But like they've been getting it done through the air consistently all season. So I think that it's just a matter of getting more passing volume out there. Because they're going to need to hit downfield if they want to be able to allow prevent defenses from just stacking the box against JT. They're going to need to get things going, and Alec Pierce is the guy that's going to take the lid off.
So what can you explain this for me? So we've got the Jags defense is 29th in run stop win rate, right? So they're the third worst we're stopping the run defense in the league, essentially, right? But then the Jags are giving up the 25th most running back points. So they're terrible at stopping the run, but great at preventing running backs from getting points. Make it make sense.
Yeah, I think that there's some some sort of quirks you can notice with like tendencies on defense. Like defense is not having to commit an extra player on the line, so that will naturally lower their run stop win rate, but they have the extra backer to fill up the gap to still stop the run, and to be good at stopping the run. Okay. But not something that I've dug into enough to explain.
Yeah, no, of course. It's just one of those things that just you try and which takes precedent, right? Like it's like with the Cincy defense, right? We've been saying all year they're a terrible defense, but not versus wide receivers. Like Khalil Shakir, are you like? I'm not starting him this week with the snow and everything. If I can help it.
He's kind of a unique case to me because he's got like a shorter ADOT than most receivers, and he does a lot of yak work. And since he's the worst tackling team in the league by far, so if he just get him going on the run, like he's essentially just going to be, just get him on shallow crossing routes and hope that he whips one up and can break a few tackles.
I like that. That makes sense. Okay, but then Keon Coleman, I think he scored in 2 straight since he got benched, or 2 out of 3. Looks like he may have woken up, activated a bit, but if we're talking ADOT, his is far, his butt in the snow. Like, do we want to trust him?
It depends on who you got, because I don't think that, like I said, I think that his ADOT is short enough that it won't be hindered by the weather as much as downfield looks.
Keon Coleman? No, Keon Coleman's ADOT's.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were on Shakir. Coleman, I'm not trusting. Just bottom line, I need to see volume for a guy who got essentially benched for conduct detrimental to the team, for whatever it may be.
So there's all these guys on this borderline, right? Look at Burden, stuff like that. Like Jordan Addison, I'm not playing, right? The whole Bears more Burden not playing. But what about guys? There's who's the Denver Patrick Bryant, right? He's a guy he's this is where rookies usually pop, right? We saw Jalen Millen last year on Tampa. Pat Bryant, a guy, his snap share has been going up every game. I'm trying to pull him up right now. Right, he had 7 targets, 13 targets the last 2 games. He's at 124 yards combined, 160 last 3 games. He's kind of this sneaky little wide receiver that nobody's talking about.
Yeah, I think that there's like Franklin's looks like okay this year, but he's gotten a ton of opportunity, and I think Pat Bryant has shown more with less, like as far as like a potential ceiling if he were to get the same workload. Um, so that said, like I think Pat Bryant is a nice stash, but I don't know if I'm trusting to put him in my lineups right this second.
Okay. What about this guy, Devon Vele, right? Was he the RB6, RB8? Sorry, wide receiver 8 last week for Tampa. For New Orleans playing Tampa. Jesus, has a stroke, right? So he was just great. Now he has a great matchup, right? 1 game sample, all the marbles. What are we doing? Are we trusting a repeat performance?
I'm not, simply because I think that between him, Olave, and Juwan Johnson, I think that they will all kind of ebb and flow a bit, and I'm not trusting that he's going to repeat necessarily. That said, it's the best matchup he could get to do it. Um, um, it's tough because man, they're gonna get a ton of looks in this game. I think you can start him like with relative confidence, but like you just have to know that there's a glass floor out that could drop from under him.
So glass floor is bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
it could come crashing right back down, but perfect spot to try and repeat.
Right, because it's this is the time, right? So like my guy, who if you've been watching, you realize A.D. Mitchell, Adonai, whatever his name is, traded from the Colts, where he's the wide receiver 4 to the wide receiver 1 in the Jets. His target share has been crazy. His ADOT's been crazy. His separation score has been crazy. He just hasn't been able to catch the ball, right? He was caught like 3 of 13. Last week, he caught the ball. I'm starting him everywhere. I picked him up everywhere. Hopefully you guys did too. How high would you play A.D. Mitchell this week?
I'd probably put him like kind of like in close to the Alec Pierce range. Kind of like just a cautious optimism. I think like his ceiling, like he really he has the doors wide open to be like a real league winner, because the opportunities are going to be there. It's just a matter of them, hitting.
Right, like if we look at, he had 12 targets, 7 targets, 6 targets. He got 8 of 12 last week. He was the wide receiver 6. Now he gets another great matchup. I love him so much. I just think these young guys, I wrote about it in the summer, like these young guys, they just blow up at the end, right? Last year we saw Marvin Mims blow up. He didn't repeat. Okay, whatever. Kashawn Butte blew up, right? He started hot this season. Can you think of Ricky Pearsall blew up, right? It's like this is traditionally when these young guys blow up. It's the end of the season. They figured it out. He got traded, which is crazy. But he went from like the 4th option to the 1st option. And Tyrod's not even that good. I think you should start A.D. Mitchell. I think he's a league winner. I think he is an absolute monster, massive wolf in sheep's clothes, or wolf in wolf's clothes. I don't even care. Yeah, that's my rant.
Dolphins too have been very strong against the run and more susceptible through the air as of late. It hasn't really shown in defensive play calling tendencies, but they are 100% a better run stopping team than they are through the air right now.
And the one thing I'd love to know is like the home away stats, because like that's something that used to be more important and seems like it's lessened. But when it's like a mid or poor level, mid-level QB, like I just find a way they just never show up. Like Tyler Shuck on the road versus Tyler Shuck at home, right? Tyrod Taylor's a veteran, but like if I've got a mid QB at home, I'm a much more confident in them. Whereas you put them on the road against good defense, I might start a position player over them.
Yeah, when you get to the guys where the talent is a little more shaky, you need the situation to be as comfy as possible to have a positive you know outlook for him this week.
Right, like Caleb, right? Caleb's playing at Green Bay, and Caleb's been sensational this season. Like, let's check out. Like, he's the QB 25, QB 6, QB 22, QB 4, QB 1. So 3 elite performances, 2 bad. Guess where the bad ones were? On the road, right? At Minnesota, QB 22. At Philly, QB 25. But they did run it wild, right? So it's just one of those things. It's just where I think it gets lost in the sand, and people, talk about so many other factors. Like this Rams Arizona. If it was in the Rams, I'd be terrified for Brissett. But at home, okay, yeah. Give me 50 passes at home and McBride, Michael Wilson. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where we at? I had a note on Dolphins Jets. So I saw something on Twitter that said like the Jets haven't beaten Tua since he's joined the Dolphins, and Tua is 0-8
So never beaten
in
Tua.
yeah, and Tua is 0-8 when the weather's under 40 degrees, and it's going to be near that in New York. I don't know if it's exactly or if it's under or not, but it's going to be cold, and just Tua's just an odd cat where he's got different factors you gotta measure in.
So what are we doing? So Tua, like we're playing Lamar over Tua.
Um, yeah, I think so because Tua hasn't looked good last few
No,
weeks either. So I would just trust the base talent in Lamar.
especially Tua on the road. But the Jets, right? Like they kind of, it's so weird, right? They should have had a good defense, then they didn't. Then they traded Sauce and Quinnen Williams, and the defense hasn't really fallen off a cliff, right? They're 24th in QB points, 24th in wide receiver points, 5th in running back points. So obviously Quinnen Williams, was a huge shift. So like obviously a change can have a monster, but we're still starting Jalen Waddle because I got no faith in Tua. But having no faith in Tua, it translates to not having as much faith in Waddle.
Yeah, I dug into this in the Discord question I answered this morning, but I'm starting a few guys over Waddle this week. At least in my head, I don't have the chance to because he's not on any of my teams. But just a pessimistic a week for him. Tua hasn't looked good, and it's do or die. Just hard to trust him.
Okay. Let's. So we got a question here, Jeremiah Eldridge 9673. Hampton or Neal? Okay, so we got a Marion Hampton. He's finally back. It's the longest ankle sprain, but it was actually kind of a fracture. But now, right? Chargers are playing.
Philly on Monday night.
Right, Philly, who's kind of the last few years has had a great run defense, but they just got gashed by Chicago. But Kamani Vidal was just awesome last week. So it's like he's not going to go bell cow and get 80% of the snaps. We're probably looking 50-50 this week. Is that enough to trust Hampton over Neal?
Yeah. I have Neal ahead in my rankings. I'm acknowledging that there's a great upside case for Hampton here because the Eagles were freaking destroyed by the Bears offensive line last week. The Chargers offensive line isn't nearly as talented as the Bears are right now. But no Jalen Carter this week. That's where I was going with that. No Jalen Carter. He's out with he had surgery on both of his shoulders. So that's just another massive gaping hole up front for Philly. I imagine that the Chargers will try and establish the run, but and Vidal's been running really well, so it's just hard to imagine that they just come out and give Hampton a notable workload out the gate.
Plus, the Chargers O-line's banged up too, right? So it's not like they're pushing people around. So it's close. Would it matter PPR versus standard? Like PPR, maybe you lean Neal.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it.
Okay. So we lean Neal because it's like he's the third running back in the depth chart. He's not super explosive, but this could be a sneaky high scoring game. It's pretty tough, right? I think I would go Hampton and just bank on at least he's more of a bigger back. He'll get the goal line work, and Philly, he's running. His defenses can fall off a cliff, right? And without Jalen Carter, I think Chicago exposed a real weakness.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, just bank on and bottom line, Hampton is far and away more talented and gifted as a runner.
Yeah, right. Eagles fell to 8th in running back points allowed from that game, right? And they're on the road, right? Run defenses really don't travel. It's really I think I'd like to think. Okay, running backs this season have come back from injury. Like so, we had Bucky. Bucky came back. He played well last week. Okay, that's a good sign. Is there another one that you can think of?
Aaron Jones came back from a long-term injury and was immediately the RB1. They didn't. It was proportionate to their offense. Like it was like a lot of the workload, but it wasn't like a ton of volume.
Okay, so there's a bit of a track record. So yeah, I think you ride Hampton, yeah, right. Okay, and then nice double up PPR Burden or Charbonnet. I mean, this is easy. I'm not playing Burden. I'm stashing Burden. I don't know what for because the schedule is so terrible, but there's a chance Burden is awesome. Like he's a great wide receiver and is kind of matchup proof, but I'm not trusting him. All Charbonnet does is score touchdowns and steal them from Ken Walker. It drives me crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Charbonnet is like a touchdown. He's like a touchdown or bust flex guy, but he's getting the opportunity to do it every single week.
Like he scored week 13, week 12, scored in week 10. They had a week 8 bye, scored 2 in week 7, scored week 5, scored week 4, scored week 1, and he was hurt in week 3. Like he's scoring more than he isn't. He's a terrible runner. Like he's got 2 games over 4.2 yards per carry. They don't really handle the passing down work, but it seems like they're at the 1 or the 2 all the time, and they'd rather Charbonnet run it in than Walker. Which again drives me crazy. So Charbonnet, especially versus Atlanta, who's not really a very good defense. Like let's see, what are the stats? What's Falcons? Are they a run funnel now? Are they more of a pass funnel?
They're middle of the pack. They were a heavy run funnel early in the year when their defense was better, and teams figured out that you could just because CMC on that Monday night or Sunday night game ran like 30 times up the middle when the Niners had nobody on offense, and everyone decided like, oh, we can just do that every week. Okay. So yeah, you can definitely just run it up the gut on Atlanta, and that's all Charbonnet does.
Perfect. Okay. Sharps all day. Okay, let's go a few more minutes here, and then we're gonna tap out. What haven't we covered? Let's cover that. Let's just talk that Detroit Dallas game. I thought there was no chance Amon-Ra was playing, like zero. I did like 3 blurbs that he was gonna try and go, blah blah blah. It's like that injury, the ankle sprain after in a short week. It was just crazy to me. And it's like, okay, he's playing. I was like, okay, well, he's a decoy. You can't start him. He played. He was awesome. Like that's nuts to me. Or maybe that Dallas secondary is just so bad.
Yeah, he looked really good in that postseason or the pregame video that got sent out when he got rolled in. And yeah, what was it last season or the season that the documentary was filmed on Netflix? Amon-Ra played that whole back half of the season with like a partially torn hamstring or something like that. But he's been one to play through injury. You can fact check me on that, but it's in his nature, at least to do it. So I held out a sliver of hope the whole time, but just a testament to a tough athlete, and it's something to note going forward when you're drafting a guy like that. He's able to play through injury and put on a serviceable performance.
So we said Lamb got the concussion. I had him 6.5 catches, and he finished with 6, which almost made me kill myself. Do you think he'll be out for next week? And then Pickens also kind of reverted to Steelers Pickens. There's that play he looked on a bomb where he looked like he didn't even try to catch it.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with Pickens that game. Lamb concussions, I always tend to imagine they're going to be out at least 1 week. That was the case for the last few seasons. I feel like they've kind of gone away from that a bit. It's
also,
kind of felt like
game.
Oh yeah. So an extended more days to process the protocol too. because if I remember correctly, you can only like advance through like one step a day. So the more days you have before
Mhm.
kickoff, you can more likely to get clear. And yeah, so cautious optimism that he's back out there next week. If he's not, Flournoy is a hot waiver wire ad this week
Florida? Hell yeah. Okay.
because he has
Well,
what, like 13 targets, 119 yards, and a score after he went out, and that was like all the second half.
yeah. No, for sure. But it's also the Lions, right? Brian Branch, he tears Achilles. Then Terrion Arnold also out. Plus the secondary was already bad and hurt.
Hmm.
Like that Detroit secondary is essentially the Cincy versus tight ends for me right now, right?
Hmm.
Like let's see who's Detroit play next week.
Um,
Who's gonna get it first? The
uh,
Rams, right? Oh my god!
ooh,
like do you have a chance? So me and Anthony, what up? And our best ball did a Ram stack, right? So we have Stafford, Puka, and Devontae.
that's right.
So our week that team we've moved on. So week 15 best ball. I mean, knock on wood, barring someone get hurt, we're almost a lock. I think to move to week 16, right?
Yeah,
That's
you have
probably
to feel.
30 Stafford, 20 Puka. That's 70 points.
Oh man, yeah, like you have to feel so good. That game is going to be so fun to watch. That's probably the get everyone in game next week. Uh, sorry, I don't want to spin off topic, but is there a game this week that you're getting everyone in on?
I mean, I lean that Cincy Buffalo kind of
Hmm.
game just because, but the snow is a little tricky. Plus, there are weird kind of funnels. We don't know about Kincaid. Um, I mean, Washington Giants both have bad defenses, but no, I don't think it would have been the Detroit Dallas game.
I think kind of sneaky, like just by
Oh.
nature of the two defenses. Saints Buccaneers, kind of.
Hmm.
Like all the guys involved, you could start in some capacity. You can get points out of Olave, Vele, Juwan Johnson, Abuka. Hopefully, can get back to the ceilings he was doing early in the year. But I'm a little. Where are you at with Abuka?
I don't know. So I just said Commanders Giants. I'm still looking at week 15. They're
Sorry.
not playing this week. No, Abuka, I'm not playing
Mhm.
because Godwin looks great. He's kind of the wide receiver one. I mean, Ted Johnson's not really involved, but even early in the season when it was Evans, right, and Abuka was great. He was
Mhm.
still fine. He's still getting scored and scoring touchdowns. But I guess him and Godwin may be similar receivers, similar, right? Both maybe kind of
Mhm.
slot. Who knows? I don't know, but Buka hasn't looked good in 4 or 5 games.
Mhm.
I'm all about track record. Sure, the matchup's nice. I think he had one good game since the hamstring injury. If you haven't done like what is maybe even a top 30 in the last 4 games, I'm not playing you.
Mhm.
I'm not betting on you breaking the streak. Right? If it's 4 red in a row roulette, I'm not betting on black. I mean, I might actually bet on black,
Fair.
but
Um, would you start? So I'm playing Michael Wilson over both of these guys. But I mean, I guess that's an easy freaking statement now. But Ibuka and Devontae Smith is who I'm boiling down my flex to in one league.
I mean, it's gross just because of the matchup. I don't really, but I'm gonna play probably Devontae Smith because it's like I don't know if the Chargers secondary is that good or maybe it's just kind of the matchups I'm playing because it's not like they're stacked full of names.
If
So
you think there is Ibuka the floor play and Smith is a ceiling play?
no, because Ibuka's always a ceiling play because he's a touchdown G, right?
Hmm.
It's just Philly's so weird, but since they can't run the ball, they have to throw it. Like that's the way
Hmm.
I'm leaning on it. Like at least early in the season or last year, Barkley would run for 150, and that's why they
Hmm.
would throw. But Barkley can't even run for 50, so they
Yeah.
have to throw it. I think, especially with AJ Brown playing great the last 2 weeks, defense is going to key on him. I don't
Hmm.
I don't hate the Devontae Smith. I can talk myself into it. Where Ibuka, I mean, there's just you're betting on a prayer, and it might
Yeah.
hit. I'd
Yeah.
rather bench him go off, and then be excited to play him in the Thursday night game.
Hmm.
That's what I should have done with Brosmer. That's what I've been killing myself all week. Bench Brosmer, and if he's great, then he gets to play next week, and then now you have a QB. If he
Hmm.
sucks, okay, I played Kirk Cousins, Bryce Young. Bryce Young wins. I'm in the playoffs instead.
Mhm.
I'm still
Putting
so mad about
putting all your chips
it.
in the same in the one pot. Um, Speaking of Saquon, who you just mentioned, how down on you are him? If I start throwing guys out, could you
Go.
like
Let's do it. It's gonna be
Aaron
fucking
Jones?
gross. Aaron Jones. I'm
Aaron
playing Aaron
Jones.
Jones. Oh yeah, easy. I'm playing Aaron Jones easy.
All right. Easy. Devin Neal.
Devin Neal. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's get a little grosser.
Like look at Barkley's the running back 43, 24, 27, 20 since the bye. So it's like, do I think the running back has a chance to finish inside the RB20? And then I'm playing him. And
Okay.
I'm just spiteful. It's like he's been giving me shit. It's like, you know what? Fine, do what. It's one of those things too. Okay, then go off on my bench, and then I can play you next week.
Here's where I'm at. I have Aaron Jones as my RB2 in one league, and I'm very tempted to start Kyle Monungai over Saquon this week, with the Packers being dead last in defensive pass rate over expected. Monungai and Swift both just went for over $150 or something like that against Philly. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but if he's going to get 12-ish touches, I might trust that over what Saquon's doing on a weekly basis.
I mean, you look at this Packers sheet, right? Red, 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 red. Except running back points allowed, 14th. It's like, okay, that tracks a bit. Plus, Philly might get rolled. Like they might get rolled by the Chargers. I know Herbert's playing with his broken hand, but they got Hampton back. If they're down, is Barkley even in? He's been so bad. I don't see this just same like Ibuka. I don't see this just flipping. Right,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to magically flip on the road against this great defense. Chargers are give it 19th most running back points allowed, but I think they're a bit of a run funnel because their secondary's been so elite, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's kind of the dilemma is like the volume is going to be there with Saquon, but the ceiling is just so capped. And Monungai, it's more of a mystery box. The ceiling is there, but is he going to have the touches to get it?
I mean, the Bears were a great matchup. He's played Dallas and Chicago the last 2 weeks, right? He's had 10 carries, 13 carries, 2.2 yards, 4.3. So the volume isn't even there. He had 8 targets against Dallas, but you just had 2 great matchups and you were shit. Now you have a tough matchup and you're going to be great. It's like, no, I'm out. Bye Barkley, no chance. It's like Charbonnet or Barkley for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
which is
tough,
so gross.
man. Chris Rodriguez or Saquon?
Commanders are playing
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Chris, I mean, I don't watch Washington, unfortunately. I'd have to see because we got Jaden back, which I think is good for the running game. It's good for the whole offense.
Yeah.
I'd have to see. I know he's like the RB1 there, but like, what's the carries? Is he getting 12 a game?
Yeah, it's around there. And he's been comfortably ahead of Krosky Merritt at this point. Merritt had 9 carries in week 11, and coming out of the bye last week, he had just 4 carries for 20 yards. So it's pretty much all Chris Rodriguez, and then
Yeah, I'm
Big
playing Chris
Nickel just doing
Rodriguez. Yeah.
passing down work.
I mean, he scored in 3 of the last 4, right? He's over 5 yards a carry in 2 of the last 4. He's had double-digit carries in 3 of the last 4. Plus some, Seattle tough matchup, Detroit tough matchup, Denver tough matchup. So yeah, Minnesota, but Minnesota's back to being really good versus Minnesota. Like they're one of those D's that just flips all the time. But yeah, I'm playing Chris Rodriguez. It's like I don't want those Barkley problems.
Yeah, totally. Like, who's more likely to score a touchdown? It's probably like by a decent margin. It's Rodriguez because of what Hurts does at the goal line.
Yeah, and for me, it's just all about your mentality. For me, it's just what am I going to regret the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Barkley goes off, okay, I'm going to be pissed. But it's like now I can play him in the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I start him and he sucks, it's like okay, now it's the playoffs, and so it's like now that it really matters, I'm going to start him again. No. Like break the cycle, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You don't just forget about the last 13, 14 weeks because it's do or die.
And I get it, maybe if you do a die for you now, but like best case scenario, you bench Barkley, he goes off, right? Because now you get to play him in week 15, right? The chances that you start him and he goes off, that's just almost not on the table. Okay, last game quickly. This Houston KC game, we didn't really talk about it at all. Where are we going? Because it's like, Houston, great defense, but Mahomes, it's a playoff game.
Chiefs are down their starting tackles and right guard in this game against that Houston front. Mahomes is just going to be running for his life. Take the over on Mahomes rushing yards, and that's my take for this game. Just because I know he's going to find a way to get something done, and he's just going to be running for his life.
So what do you put into like these stats here? Like, because I think Kelsey's the tight end 2 on the season, right? But Houston 28th in tight end points allowed. Does that scare you off Kelsey? Or it's like, okay, if this was a playoff game, you're playing Kelsey no matter what. I don't care who's on him, which it kind of is. So it's like we ride Kelsey.
Yeah, I think so. I think Rice is going to take most of the attention away, or like be the number, take the top. Going to be the top priority for the secondary for Houston, and that's going to give Kelsey the chance to kind of sit down in the find his spots. Mahomes is going to be running for his life. He's going to be running, extending plays. Kelsey's going to be there finding openings. I think that I'm a little nervous because I could see the point total being low in this game.
41.5, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's my biggest concern for this game, is it just being kind of a defensive fronted matchup.
But maybe it's a shootout, right? Because, Chiefs are second in EPA per play, and the Texans' offenses look better, and the Chiefs' defense is actually kind of fallen off, right? They're not good at anything right now.
Yeah.
So maybe it's Mahomes can't be stopped, and then C.J. Stroud just feeding Nico.
Yeah, that's a good call. It could be like thanks to the Texans O-line is playing much improved compared to where they were at the first half of the year and all of last season. And it's just given a chance for you can see the offense be what it can be. Like with CJ Stroud is a super talented quarterback, and they have a ton of weapons at his disposal now. It's just about having the time to get him into get him into good looks.
Jaden Higgins or Abuga?
Ooh, that I'd probably take the needle pointing up and play Higgins.
Right?
Yeah. I tend to split hairs that way. If someone's on a positive trend, just try and ride the hot hand.
Okay. That's gonna do it for us. Unless you got any stats, you always have something you didn't get in.
Nothing this week.
Nothing this week. Okay, next time hold what's up the back. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, guys, that's been great. This is for us. Right, remember, if you are on Twitter, jump over to YouTube, right? So you can subscribe, so you can watch. I should have mentioned that earlier. And you can always jump in our Discord. Nate was in it earlier. I'll be checking it out. Right, jump into the Discord, drop some questions, start sits, because this is it. Matchup for talent. A lot of leagues, everybody is like 7-6, 6-7, and the glut from like 3 to 10 is the same record. So playoffs start today. So check us out and have a good week and good luck.
Yep. Good luck, y'all.